Hey guys, welcome back. This is hello Coda. Shortly after my first time first date video, I'm going to talk about getting engaged. My first date video kind of sucked because, well, for one, I couldn't really remember my first date, and secondly, it wasn't really a real date. So something that I like a lot more is my engagement story. First of all, when everybody's like, oh, I just got engaged, and everybody's like, let me see the ring! I'm all over here like, screw the ring, tell me the story. I want to hear the story. I want to hear about how you got engaged, because I think that every engagement story is unique to the couple that... Hi, dog. Sorry. Is unique to the couple that, you know, it happened to. So some people have like this wild out there, like, really romantic story, and other people are like, I was sitting on my couch and he just said, hey, let's get married. You know, like, that's cool. That is your story. It tells a lot about you and who you are. So anyways, my engagement story. So my cousin was getting married and she asked me to be the maid of honor in her wedding. And of course I said yes. So I was down in Iowa. I was planning to go down to Iowa for her wedding. And my now husband is in the active army. And he kept saying that he was going to save up his leave days to come up to Minnesota in July. And I was like, well, what's so significant about July? You can celebrate the 4th of July anywhere. And I was like, why July? Why July? And he's like, I just want to come and see my family in July. And I was like, okay, well, you can come and see your family in July. So, anyways, I was like, you please want to be my date for this wedding? Like, I would really appreciate it if you would come be my date, come support me, come hang out with me, meet some of my extended family. Like, I think it would really, really great. He had been in Afghanistan for the last year, so I really wanted him to meet a lot of people. I really felt like we were going to wind up together. So about a week and a half before the wedding, he finally calls me and says, yeah, I'm going to take leave, I'm going to come up and I'll be your date for your cousin's wedding. And I was like, okay, you just told me for like 3 months that you're not coming to the wedding, that you can't, that you don't have enough leave, that you're saving your leave for coming up to Minnesota in July, and now, all of a sudden you want to come? I was like, oh, this is weird. Whatever, okay, I'm excited, I'm happy, you can come, like, that's great. I want to see you. So, we get there. And I had to immediately leave him with my cousin's fiance and her brother. And we went out and we did some girl time. We picked up their dresses. We went out to dinner and we had a lot of fun. And all this while I'm thinking, oh, poor Michael. He's stuck with my cousin who can, well, you know, he's just in a league of his own. He's the type of cousin that threatens to hang you upside down by your toenails. Locks you in a barn with your sister, in a hay barn, and then leaves you there for hours and lets the little mice, creepy crawlies, run around. And he's the kind of cousin that will pick on you, that'll kind of bully you. I mean, you love him, he's great, he's fun, but he just has this little wicked side, like there's something in his eyes. So then I left him with my cousin, and I was like, oh God, they've never met, like, I don't know how well this is going to go, and so I thought he was going to be really mad at me. We got back, and they were having a bonfire and a couple beers, and everything seemed like, you know, it was going great, like they were just having some guy time. Cool. And so we go inside, and, you know, no big deal, and I'm hanging out outside in the fire, like hanging out with some of the guys, and Michael just keeps going back and forth, and in the house and out the house, and I was like, okay, you know, whatever, cool. Sure, like, you know, he wants to go inside, get away from my cousins. Maybe that's it. Turns out that was not the case. So the next day, I get up, and I know that my cousins are out of coffee, and so I was like, well, let's run to the store, get them some coffee. They had a horse and some rabbits. I figured we'd get some apples and lettuce. Coda, I'm gonna need you to calm down. Somebody's outside, and she's being a little guard dog. Anyways, so I drag Michael along, and I'm like, hey, let's go to the store, like earlier in the morning. Now, I put on a tank top, a zip up, and I have my hair in a bun on top of my head. You know, I look like garbage, and I don't care. I'm just going to the local Aldi's. We pick up the coffee and the stuff, and then I was like, you know, I'm kind of hungry. You want to get some lunch? She's like, yeah, I do. I want to get some lunch. And we passed by this really cute, like, little small-town mom-and-pop almost shop, but it was an Italian joint. So we go there, and we're waiting for our food, and he's sitting on his phone like, trying to hide that he's texting. And something that we have never done is we've never hidden our phones from each other. We don't have a passcode. You know, you want to see my phone? Sure, here you go. Here's my phone. You know, I ain't got nothing to hide. And so, like, he's, like, under here, like, secretly texting, and as soon as it goes off, he's, like, boom, like, snatches it so I can't see it, and I'm like, he is so mad at me for leaving him with my cousin all alone with the guys last night that he's talking to some other girl and he's about to break up with me, because he had been acting like really like standoffish, like not saying anything to me all day. And I was like, okay, he's being really quiet and really weird, and I don't know if I like this. And now that he's hiding his phone from me, I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna break up with me. And so anyways, we get the food and he's still acting like weird and quiet, not saying a whole lot. And we're gonna head back to my cousin's house. So we're driving, and I mean, I kind of knew this town, but not really. Like, she had just recently moved there. I'd only been there once before, so I kind of knew, like, the main roads I needed to take to get back, but really nothing else. And Michael's like, turn right at the stop sign. I'm like, no, we have to go straight. And so I go straight through the stop sign. And then the next stop sign, he goes, turn right. And I'm like, no, the way back to Shannon's house is to go straight. We got to go straight. I was like, I know this road. I know this is your first time here, but I definitely know how to get back. And he's like, okay. So we keep driving, and he's like, turn right. And I'm like, why? Why we gotta turn right? I was like, that is not the way to go. And he's like, I want to show you something. Well, Shannon's fiance, Troy, is a fireman. And I was like, I've already seen the firehouse. Troy showed me. I'm tired. I want to go back to the house. I want to take a nap. Tomorrow's Shannon's wedding. It's a big day. And he's like, no, it's not the firehouse I want to show you. I just want to show you something cool. And I'm like, okay, besides the firehouse, we're in Nowhereville, Iowa. Tiny little town. Everybody knows everybody. I was like, what is there to see here? I've already seen the main roads. I've seen the mom and pop shops. I've seen the small diners and the gas stations. There's nothing else to see. And he's like, just do it. Just turn right. And I was like, okay, so I turned right, and I was like, at the next stop sign, okay, now where'd you like me to go? And he's like, just keep going straight. And I'm like, oh, we're going completely backwards. This is the wrong way. We're going to get ourselves lost. And then at the stoplight, he's like, turn right again. I'm like, are you trying to take me into a circle? And then he's like, no, just keep driving. Okay, turn left. And I was like, do you even know where you're going? And he's like, yeah, I know where I'm going. I'm like, you've never been here before, and you've never been through this side of town. I don't think you know where you're going. So anyways, we get up to this next stoplight, and he's like, make a U-turn. I'm like, guy, this is upsetting me. I'm not going to make a U-turn. I'm not going to keep turning right and turning left and following you when you have no idea where you're going. Like, we're completely lost. We're never going to find our way back. I'm tired. I'm crabby. I don't want to make a U-turn and go all the way back down where we just came from. We have literally gone in a circle. And he's like, just trust me, make a U-turn. I'm like, fine. So I make a U-turn. He's like, turn right. And I was like, oh, what? Like a little bit more notice than 30 seconds changing lanes and turning right would be great. So I turn in, and I'm like, this is an RV park. What are we doing in an RV park? So he's like, just go over here. And I was like, okay. We're in an RV park, in the middle of nowhere. We have no idea how to get home. We're just going to park the car. So we park the car. And actually, like, you know, I looked outside the front windshield, and I was like, you know what, this is actually really pretty. All the little cherry blossoms were in bloom because it was May and it was spring, and so all these trees are just pink and flowery, and they're kind of starting to fall off a little bit, so there's a bunch of pink petals on the ground, and I was like, you know what, that's really pretty. And then I realized that there's like this pondy lake. I mean, I grew up in Minnesota, so I don't know if I would call it a lake, but it was definitely a little bit bigger than your average pond, and there were two grandpas sitting in their little lawn chairs fishing it in between these little cherry trees. It was so cute. Anyways, there's a little dock that goes out onto it, and he's like, let's go hang out by the pond. And I was like, okay, sure. So we get out of the car, and we go over, and we stand on the dock, and I noticed, you know, like, there's not a lot of fish that I could see swimming around, and it was still a little cool for them to be in that shallow, but I noticed, like, on the boards that I was standing on, there were all these pink little flower petals from the cherry blossoms, and it was just so pretty, and I wasn't mad anymore, and I was just, you know, this is a really great, beautiful outdoor scene. And then I realized that Michael is shaking, and I'm like, are you cold? You have a thicker jacket than I do. And he's like, no, I'm not cold. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, well, you know, why'd you bring me here? And he's like, well, I just wanted to get some alone time from your cousins and from the hassle and stress of, you know, going through the wedding, and maybe give Shannon and Troy a break. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And he's like, and I want to spend time with you. And I was like, sweet. He goes from being silent and standoffish all day to wanting to spend time with me. Okay, maybe we're not such a bad spot in our relationship as I thought. And then he starts telling me how I had flown down to say goodbye to him the night before he deployed. I surprised him. I took a plane. I went down and said goodbye. And this was just shortly after we started dating. And then I flew back home the next morning as he left for Afghanistan. And he starts talking about how we first started dating and how we had been friends throughout high school, even though we were from neighboring towns, and we used to fall asleep texting each other. And he's talking about all these reasons why he loves me. And he's just starting to shake and shake and shake and shake and shake more and more. And at that moment, I was like, oh my God, he's going to propose. And sure enough, immediately after I had that thought in my head, he gets down on one knee and pulls a ring out of his pocket, a ring box, and opens it up and says, Kelsey, will you marry me? And I said, yeah, yes, of course. I said yes 3 times. And then he got up and he put the ring on my finger, and we hugged. And this is now my engagement ring in the middle here, and my 2 wedding bands around the side. So that's my first time being engaged. I hope it's my only time being engaged. I'm pretty sure it will be my only time being engaged. Unless something catastrophic happens. I plan on having only 1 engagement, 1 marriage, and 1 first time being engaged story. So I hope you enjoyed this. The idea came from my younger sister, Holly. So if you want to like and follow her Twitter, YouTube, she's got pretty much every social media there is. Subscribe and like to my page, and I will try and put up some more videos, and I hope you were entertained.